Welcome children, take out a history book. The Sangam Age. Today's topic is economic condition. The Sangam literature gives a complete and true picture of economic condition as well. Now Sangam literature, what does it give? It tells us a complete and true picture of the economic conditions. Agriculture. Agriculture was the main occupation of a large section of people. Land was held by individuals as well as by the state. Now, during that time, the people's main occupation, it was agriculture. Land, it was held by either single individual or by the state. The land was fertile and there was plenty of grains, meat and fish. Now, land was fertile, lands were there and there were plenty of production, that is grain, meat and fish were there. The Chola country was watered by the river Kaveri. Now Chola country, it was watered by the river Kaveri. About the country there was a saying that spaces in which an elephant did lie down produced enough grain to feed 7 persons. Now there was, about this country there was a saying, it was just a saying that the spaces, that means the empty spaces in which the elephant did lie down, it was to produce enough grain, that means which could feed 7 persons. The Chera region was well known for its buffaloes, jackfruit, pepper and turmeric. Now Chera region, what was it known for? It was known for buffaloes, jackfruit, pepper and turmeric. The rich did not have the land themselves. They hired laborers called pariars for the job. Now rich, they did not have too much amount of land. What they used to do? They used to hire laborers who were called the pariars for this job. The pariars traded in animal skins which were used in man. Now pariars, what they used to do? They used to do business in animal skin and they were used as man. Trade. The rulers had become income from big transaction also. Now rural, what they have become? They have become income from the trade transaction also. A large number of crafts and occupations are referred to in Sangam literature. Now, many crafts and occupations, what were they referred to? They were referred to as Sangam literature. The epic Mani Mekai was written by grain merchant of Madurai. Now, the epic, that is Mani Mekai. Who wrote it? It was written by grain merchant of Madurai. The Tamil literature refers to items of trade like spices, sandalwood, pearls, sea products, semi-precious stones and textiles of various types. Now, the Tamil literature, what they refers to? They refers to the items of trade, that was the spices, sandal, pearls, sea product, semi-precious stones and textiles of various types. We also have the information that foreigners, that the Yavanas, visited the coastal towns for trade. Now, even we know the information about the foreigners. They were called the foreigners. They were called the Yavanas. They used to visit the coastal towns for business. Metal lamps in different shapes and bottles were bottles of wine figure prominently among the articles of trade brought to India by the now metal lamps in different shapes and even the bottles of wine figure, they used to prominently among the articles of trade used to bring about the Indian by the foreigners. Many Roman traders resided in South India in those days. Now, many Roman traders, they used to live in South India during those days. The ports of Nora, that is Kannur, and Niklinda, that is Kottayam, were among the most prominent ports of India's western coast. Now, many Roman traders, businessmen, who used to live in South India during this time. The ports of Nora, that is Kannur, and Nilindia, that is Kottayam, they were among the most prominent parts of the India's western coast. The Westerners were much fond of Indian paper. Now Westerners, what were they fond of? They were fond of Indian paper. It therefore began to be called Yavan Priya in Sanskrit, and so therefore it was called Yavan Priya in Sanskrit. Roman coins of gold and silver found in southern peninsula suggest that Indo-Roman trade brought great gains to Indian merchants. Roman coins, it was made up of gold and silver. They have found it in southern peninsula. It suggests that Indo-Roman trade, which was brought for great grains to the Indian merchant. Other occupation. Among other prominent occupation mentions made of spinning and weaving, metalwork, ornament making, and ivory being used for making carved ornaments and other objects. Now, among the other prominent occupations which were mentioned, and they were made up of spinning and weaving, that is metalwork, ornament making, and ivory making. They were also used for making carved ornaments and other objects. Udaipur was last center of cloth that were made of cotton. Now, Udaipur, what is it? It was last center of cloth, and it was used to made of cotton. According to some poets, the cotton dress was so smooth and shiny that it looked as if made of a snake skin. Now, according to some poets, the cotton dresses, it was so smooth and it was so shiny that it appeared that as if it was made up of snake skin. Shipbuilding was another prominent occupation that provided livelihood to men. Now, shipbuilding, it was another main occupation that gave livelihood to many artisans. Occupational guilds. Guilds had become an important institution in the economy of the now guilds, they have become an important institution in the economy of the Sangam age. The guilds defined rules of work and control the quality and prices of the finished work. Now guild, they used to define the rules of the work and used to control the quality of the prices of the finished product. The guilds also functioned as bankers and financial. The guild, they even worked as bankers and even the financial. Guilds also carried out welfare activities and services of many kinds. Now guilds even carried out many services of many kinds. In each villages and town, following various occupations lived largely apart from one another. Now in villages and town, people, they used to follow different types of occupation, and they used to live apart from one another, although in fairly close by, but still they were quite close to each other. Socio-economic inequalities. We see sharp socio-economic inequalities in the age of Sangam. Now, we can sharply see that socio-economic inequalities were there in the age of Sangam. The rich lived in houses made of brick and mortar, whereas the poor in small mud walled house. Now, what we have seen that sharply we have seen that socio-economic inequalities were prevailed in the age of Sangam, and the rich, they used to live in the houses which are made of brick and mortar, whereas the poor, they used to live in small mud walled houses. The Sangam poets gave descriptions of hunters' hut full of bows and shields and shepherds' houses. Now, Sangam poets, what they used to give? They used to give the descriptions of the hunters' house, which were full of bows and shields, and the shepherds' houses, where curds and butter were produced for sale. Here, curds and butter, they were produced for sale. They also describe the living conditions of the learned Brahmins, and they even have described the living conditions of these learned Brahmins and the rich merchant. We notice the splendor of the large grand buildings which belong to kings and members of the ruler. Now, we even notice the splendor of the large grand buildings that belong to the kings and members of the ruling class. The royal place also lived in grandeur. The royal place, they also lived in big buildings. Now, take out your diary, write Sangam age, topic, economic conditions, explain, homework, revise it. And with this, I am ending my today's class.